Welcome to my daily review. Today is Wednesday, July 2, and the Nasdaq had a 190 point gain today, or 0.94%. Uh, Tomorrow, the market is closed at 10 a.m. on the West Coast and 1 p.m. on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time. So just know that truncated, abbreviated session tomorrow, and then Friday for the July 4th holiday, the market will be closed and reopen again on Monday. So anyway, now that I got that out of the way, I just wanted to point out that the Nasdaq pulled back one day. It was up 6 days in a row, right? Really broke out of this consolidation here. It ran up nicely through the old high of 20,204, got above it, then pulled back right to it. You can see the low there was below it was 20,181 on two, excuse me, 20,105, which is, roughly, retracing back to these old highs, and then pull back to the five. That was on Tuesday. And then today, Wednesday, gained another nearly 1%. And the high was at 397, 20,397, closed at 393. So 4 points off the high. I think that bodes well for tomorrow and next week. If you're into buying, calls for short term, I think the market's going higher in these next few sessions. There's a lot of negative naysayers. I mean, it went down one day yesterday, Tuesday, and I saw people calling for a top. The market's done. It's run too much. What else? Oh, it's going to chop for a while now, a few weeks. Can't go any higher. It's in a strong uptrend, folks. Like I mentioned many, many, many times, when we get in these runs like this, they usually last from 12 to 18 weeks. We're in a week 11. If I go to the weekly chart, and it shows you these runs that we've had in this bull market here. Yeah, we had a pullback there after, but these are like 18-week runs. This one was a little longer here. This one was a little longer. This one is about 18 weeks. And then here we go again. What happens? It goes sideways. Then we get our bear market, 27% correction. And it's been running about 11 weeks. So I'm expecting 1 to 5 or 6 more weeks of this rally before we hit the summertime blues. But anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Anything can happen. Sure, it could crash tomorrow, but what is it doing? What is the market doing? Well, it's being supported at its moving averages. Here on this date, it was supported by its 21, which it consistently has since we've been liberated here. That was June 23rd. Back here, I got supported at the 21, April 30th, but mostly, I've got this on the 5 for the NASDAQ. And yesterday I pulled back to the 5, found support and bounced another percent today, 190 points. Yeah, closing at 20,393. I couldn't be more bullish. I mean, when you get a pullback like this, and this is not much of a pullback, but when the market comes in a little bit, your leaders are probably going to, go down a lot more, or one, or I don't know, two times the index. And so you're looking for where they find support. And at the end of the video, I'm going to go through a bunch of the leaders, the winning stocks during this uptrend, and find out where are they finding support. I think that's critically important on times when, the market pulls back like this. Pulls back it pulled back a day or 2 days. Yesterday was a day and people were freaking out. Jeez Louise. I think we're getting a little spoiled. Um, you know, as the Nasdaq is at all-time highs here, and that you think it's going to go up every day. I mean, it did go up 6 days in a row. But yeah, you got to expect some pullback, and that gives you valuable information as to where your stocks, you should be looking at your stocks, and the leading stocks are finding support and bouncing. That's really important. And some of them won't bounce. Some will just crash through, and there will be new leaders to take their place. But for right now, just watch the index, watch the your stocks. Most importantly, your stocks. That's all you care about. What stocks are you holding? Where are they finding support? Same thing here on the S&P. This one wasn't up quite as much, 0.5%, but made a new high. And yeah, this is just in an uptrend. This is finding support at the 5. So incredibly strong market. I don't know what to tell you if you're listening to these people who are saying that it's top heavy, it's overvalued, it's going to crash. Yeah, I'm in the opposite camp, put it that way. This is the Russell, the small caps are looking really strong here, and then of course the Dow Jones, the 30 stocks here, yeah, pulled back a little bit today. The Nasdaq was the strong index today. All right, I'm going to get to the stocks because we're interested in stocks, and I don't trade indexes for the most part. This is Tesla. Oh man, Tesla had delivery numbers today that were just brutal. Do we care? No. You only care about the reaction to the data point. The reaction was pretty positive. I was surprised because the data was bad. Yeah, it gave a little head fake here, but then, it was pretty much up all day. So good move for Tesla. It's still below the 200 there. But yeah, I mean, you want to see stocks going up on bad news. That's a really good sign. Apple, it's been on a run here. Apple's been super strong. Looks like it wants to make a run at the 200 there. Up more than 2% now at 212. Microsoft gave a little back today, right? Nah, just flat as a pancake. And this is what I'm talking about. If you own Microsoft, you want to know where that's going to find support. It closed just a tick below the five, so it wouldn't surprise me to see that thing bounce tomorrow. Meta Platforms has been one of the stronger Mag 7 stocks. We pull back again today. Watch for a bounce there around the five. It's a tick below it. Five starting to curl down a little bit, so that thing needs to bounce. You don't want to see those moving averages curling lower, especially if you're holding them. Google, Google, I like Google right here. It's just having a hard time, but I think they're doing good business. I mean, I like Google, not for a swing trade, but just to hold longer term. I think they're going to be a big winner in this AI race. Anyway, not not saying anything that anybody else wouldn't agree with. Amazon, yeah, just as flat as a pancake today. Usually, when the index is up, these Mag 7 stocks are, going to be the ones that are driving it forward. All right, and the last one is NVIDIA got back what it lost yesterday and then some, and still right around that old high. And just like, the Nasdaq, you got to expect a little bit of selling when it gets to that old high. If we look at this, weekly chart, there's some people that have been holding for a while now, and it gets to the old high, they're going to take profits. And that's, it's got to work through that for a little bit. It could be a day, this one pullback. So you ask yourself, where's NVIDIA finding support? Well, I'd say the five. The five today was 155, closed at 157. So that green line would be something that you'd pay attention to if you're holding um, NVIDIA, which I'm not. AMD is one that I like. This one did not, pull back to the five, undercut it, then rallied back, and it closed right above, yeah, just a tick below it. Okay, 138.52, and the five is 138.88. But in spirit, it closed at the five, and I expect AMD to bounce pretty soon too. Broadcom is another one of these semiconductor names, just showing real strength here. Definitely, undercut the five yesterday and rallied back above it today and closed just a tick above it there at 269. The other one that was strong was Taiwan Semiconductor, definitely bouncing sharply off the 5 year. Yeah, it undercut it yesterday and closed just a tick above it. And today, man, Zoom closed, yeah, 3% above it. Yeah, nice 4% move for Taiwan Semiconductor. This is a big cap, 1.2 trillion semiconductor name. So for me, the semiconductors to get involved in a rally is super important, as well as, some of the other sectors that we're seeing, the hardware, the software. Also, some of the financial names are strong as well. So I'm completely bullish. I think we're in for, a nice run here still, even though we've had a nice run, and maybe you get a summer correction of 5% or something as we head into the fall season. But yeah, everything looks good to me. And having the semiconductors on board gives me more confirmation of this move higher. Okay, I'm going to move now from that group to the hardware group, the quantum computing group. This is IONQ. It was upgraded today. I was going to put this one on my ready list. I had it all ready to go. I love the little flag pattern here, but I didn't. These were all upgraded this morning, and I missed out on a 12% gain. And this is the type of stuff that just kills me because I knew to put that on. I knew to buy it for my own personal account, but I didn't do either one. Some weeks, it's like sports, some weeks you're in the zone, you're doing well, and other weeks you're in a little bit of a slump. Some of the stocks that I picked this week weren't as good as some of the ones that I have waiting in the bullpen here, but that's the way it goes sometimes. That one should have been on there. Definitely. These names were all upgraded. Rigetti was upgraded, is up 15%, closed over 13. Wow, nice move there. I think all day it was just kind of ramping here. Yeah, look at that move. Opened higher and just buyers all day long. Look at this high volume close here. Very nice for Rigetti. Close at the high. That's a nice hammer candle. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with that one. Yeah, the quantum computing group, yeah, definitely responding well to these upgrades. Same thing here with D-Wave Quantum had this kind of like this downtrend, broke above it. Not much of a bottom here. Just pinched in and made a little flag for a day or two. And now popped 8% today. And the other one is QUBT before I move on here from this group. Similar action, just not as dramatic. Popping off the moving average there, the five, closing with a hammer candle there. Nice move. Yep. And the five is at 19. The low today was 18.20. So nice bounce off the five, up 11% today. So, okay, congrats to those who are long the quantum computing group, and the semiconductors are looking good. And I have to mention that the crypto names, Bitcoin was up a lot today. Last time I looked, it was over 109. So that group, there's a lot of them here. Coinbase had this little, I call it a little bull wedge pattern as it pulled back to the five, then popped 6% today. Coinbase looked good. Robinhood, this one hit up against the 100 level and got the Matambo treatment. Yeah, I think it needs to take a little bit of a breather here. It's getting a little bit, yeah, 7.3% above the five. So let it pull back today, after hours, maybe a little bit. But you can see how fast the five has been moving. It was just 81 a couple sessions ago. It's just ripping higher, 85, 88, 91 today. So, tomorrow probably, 93, 94, and let it come back there. This is what I'm talking about. Where is this leading stock? And this is definitely a leader. Where is it finding support consistently? At the five the whole time. It's riding the five. And then I just said it was closed 7.5% above the five. So it needs to come back. It's going to come back to that green line. This one has shown a consistent pattern for a long, long time. And Robinhood, yeah, fine. Now, the rumor today was that Robinhood is going to go into the S&P 500 to replace Juniper Networks. And I don't know if that was announced or not yet. I don't think it's a big deal, not a reason to buy or sell a stock. But Juniper was the deal went through Hewlett Packard. I call it Hewlett Packard. HPE bought Juniper Networks. And the deal went through. So Juniper is coming out of the S&P 500, and somebody's going to replace them, either AppLovin or Robinhood, I guess. I don't know. That was supposed to be announced. Those stocks are both down after hours. I don't know if it was announced today or not. But this is what you're looking for on Robinhood is, pull back to the five, and it's just acting beautifully. One of the easiest holds I've had in a long time. All right. What else do we have in this group? IREN. This is kind of a data center play, it's a Bitcoin mining, but it's really super strong. Once again, extended from the five. Had a big move here off the lows, 5 to 15. It's been a three bagger already. 8.2% above the five. I just can't buy it here. But you see how fast that five is rising. It's 1251, 1388 today. So yeah, moving rapidly higher. So that one looks good to me. CIFR, somebody asked me to look at this, and you cannot argue with the movement here. It's a powerful 16% move today. Closed with a hammer candle there, right at the high, 97% of the daily range, 16% above the five. So I can't buy it here, but just acknowledging strength there. I know it's a $5 stock, but still a lot of these, smaller market cap stocks, 2 billion, 5 billion, they're making big, strong moves. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about, buying a Mag 7 stock, which, none of them are going to double in a week like this one has pretty much. But this is just, more risk though. You're taking on more risk. So anyway, Big move for that one. WULF. Somebody asked me to take a look at this one. TeraWulf. Yeah, above the 200, closed with that hammer candle. Gotta love it, but 11% above the five. You can't buy it here. 14% move, just acknowledging strength with the, Bitcoin being up so much today. Mara, same thing, up what, 13%, 10% above the five. So yeah, these are not actionable, just acknowledging strength. Same with the Riot platforms. Yeah, 8% above the five. Yeah, I mean, these all look good, right? The one I put on my ready list was Galaxy, and it didn't have quite the day. It was still up 4%, but not up 15% like some of the other ones. Maybe I'll go to it. See how it looks like on a 1 minute chart. Yeah, close with a whimper. Yeah, I had a decent day though. I mean, this thing is wild. These IPO stocks, when you buy them, you got to expect this. You look at these daily ranges, right? This thing's showing wide daily ranges. I mean, 10%, every day at least. This is more than 10% here on Monday. Yeah, $2 on yeah, 10%. Yeah, roughly, yeah, $2 every day. So yeah, roughly 10% every day. It moves, right? Definitely. I like this, IPO stocks, but you know what? You got to know what you sign up for here. You're buying a very volatile name with, the daily range is, 10%. So you could be down 5% and bummed out, and then all of a sudden it rallies up 10%, and you got your daily range off the low. Yeah. Anyway, you know what I mean. I'm going to move on from that group. So we did the semiconductors, we did the Mag 7, we did the semiconductors, we did the quantum computing, we did all those crypto stocks. And this data storage group is really, it's surprising me. Micron has been thought of as a leader here, but it's definitely Seagate. I don't know how many weeks in a row this has been up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I ran out of fingers. Uh, But obviously, off the lows, 63 to 151. And this is not a small stock, 32 billion market cap, and it was a two-bagger in a hurry. Did I buy that one? No. It's been on our relative strength list that I post every morning. Did I buy it? No, I didn't. Nice pop today, closed 98% of the daily range, nice hammer there. But I can't buy it here this extended. But just acknowledging strength here. WDC, Western Digital. This is a 23 billion market cap stock, and just man, show the strength. Just bombing off that 5 EMA there today. Nice 3% move. All right. That's it for the. I'm just going to do those. I'm going to kind of go quicker here through these names. The fintech stocks, SEZL pulled back yesterday, and this one I'm talking about. When some people that own this one, they're bummed yesterday because they bought it and then it went lower. Let me go here to a 5 minute chart. So this is a Tuesday. So it started ramping higher right on Tuesday. Yeah, it was up to like 181. So you bought it there and then it whoop, now it's down below one. What was it? What did it go down to? 163. That's like a $20 move, that hurts, when you buy it, when you chase the stuff. And so you can't chase, you got to wait for it to pull back. And then today it popped a little bit, um, you know, 3%. But all it really did was just come back to its five. And this is what I'm saying when you have these down days, where are these leading stocks finding support? This one's consistently found it at the five. And so that's what you want to see. And that's where the opportunity lies. But you got to be quick, like there's the old saying, the quick and the dead in the market. And then you got to be quick and buy these drops. You can't be afraid that, it's going to slice and go down to the 21. It certainly can, but it certainly bounced off the, yeah, right there. So you buy the bounce, you don't buy the dip because you never know how low it's going to go, but you buy the bounce when it starts bouncing higher. And yeah, this stock looks to me like it wants to make new highs, just like our rich Uncle Dave, which is similar, just pull back to the five. This one didn't even undercut the five, pull right back to it. And just had an inside day today. Dave looks fine. The other one is a firm, the buy now, pay later stocks. And this one's surfing its five too. I believe those three are all on our relative strength list that I post every morning. There's only like 24, 25 stocks, and three of them are in that group. All right, I'm going to move on from that group because I'm going to go to a group that I really, really like, the Electrical Contracting Manufacturing Group, CLS. I did put on my ready list today. Did I buy it? No. And I was looking at it, I was thinking, man, it's 150. I should buy it. And I didn't. And now it closes at 155. Such is life. Loser. Anyway, this is today's action here. It kind of wiggles around a little bit at the open, found its footing, pull back a little bit and just into the close, strong close here for Celestica CLS. Super strong stock. Once again, leading stock. Where's it finding support? Every time it pulls back. So that's a consistent pattern. That's what you look for. Sanmina, the Solar Brothers. Ah, my friends are doing well. Morale is always better when your stock's at an all-time high. And Sanmina broke out of this base and is just ripping higher, minding the five now. This is a stock like nobody talks about. Doesn't have the growth profile that I really like, but you cannot argue with the technicals and any stock making all-time highs, that's telling you something, right? Life is good at Sanmina. JBL, this is one with the earnings ramp and just every day going higher. Pull back one day to the five, found support. This is what I'm talking about with the leading stocks. Where are they finding support? And that's why those down days are valuable information. They tell us a lot about the stock, and it gives us an opportunity. If you wanted to buy Jabal, yesterday maybe it was your chance, but today now it closed 2.1% above the five, which is not, too bad, but you'd rather get it a little closer to that moving average. At least I would. All right, let me see. I'm going to move on from the electrical contracting manufacturing group. I did mention the banks. Banks are super strong, well capitalized. I think a lot of them are announcing now that they can, the stock buyback programs. Wells Fargo, this is one that I do own in my retirement account, just, in a drip system. It's fine. It's only because I bank there, but there's probably better banks to own. Goldman Sachs has certainly, been ripping. JP Morgan, another one, leading stock. Where's it finding support once again? And this is what I'm talking about with when we have this uptrend, call it a bull market rally, whatever you want to call it. When the banks get involved and the semiconductors, that's more confirmation for me that the market's going higher. And this could be due to a number of things, but it doesn't really matter. All you need to know as a trader, as a technician as well, is that it's just finding support at the five. So JP Morgan looks good. And then Capital One Financial broke out of this cup with handle pattern. It's not looking back, man. It's been up how many days in a row with volume here? That is not to be ignored. Capital One looks fantastic. So just a lot of banks looking good. And you could just go to their little random banks here. This is Bank of America. Slower mover, but hey, busting out of a base here. That one looks good as well. I've been showing you the Bank of Montreal. This one. Nice little, that's a textbook handle here. It's got this cut pattern, then whoop, undercut the 21. Where's it going? This stock sucks. And all of a sudden, whoop, it always, fake out, shake out before the breakout every time. Not every time. There's no such thing as every time in the stock market. But yeah, a lot of times you'll see a stock shake off the weak hands before the rip. And so it's very common. You need to be flexible and know that. So when you own a stock and you get shaken out, you can buy it back and not miss out on that big move. So be flexible like that and don't regret. Have no regrets. All right, I'm going to get out of the banking system and go to the leisure services. This was my theme for a long time that the boomers are, spending they're taking distributions out of their retirement plans and they're traveling. Hopefully they didn't see that documentary on Netflix. What was it called? The Poop Deck. But Viking, there, this is a river, mostly, river cruises in, around the world, but essentially in Europe. So anyway, yeah, I would have to say the demographics on this one is probably a little older than most of the other cruises, but yeah, destination focused on rivers, oceans around the world, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But anyway, you could just see technically it's just surfing the five, and it didn't even pull back yesterday. It was up yesterday when the indexes pulled back. RCL, I think Royal Caribbean was the poop deck. Anyway, making new highs. Man, these things are super strong. CCL, Carnival. Maybe it was Carnival. I don't know. Got to watch the poop deck. And then you'll never go on another cruise again. Supported 21 here since it's broken out now, extended beyond the 5 here. So these are showing strength. Once again, another group, right? Showing strength. And I can't even get to some of the other groups that I really want to because this video will be like super long and I don't want to do that to you. The electrical power equipment group, and I had this one, Gates, on my ready list this week, and you can see why. This cup with elongated handle here, pull back on Monday and then pop Tuesday, pop 2% today. That one, I wouldn't say it's still actionable because it's 2.5% above the 5, but if it pull back a little bit, I think that one you could still, yeah, that one's it's not too extended, and I think it's going to move higher. AMSC, another one of these electrical power equipment stocks, blasting 9% off the 5 today. Very nice. We'll take 9% in the portfolio. Thank you very much. And the other one I did put on was a slower mover is Rockwell. This one pulled back to the 21, and I think I had it 328.90. Anyway, made a nice move this week. Yeah, so I can pat myself on the back. All my picks don't suck this week. Rockwell saved me. And CLS doing okay. And Galaxy. I got some winners. Um, but yeah, all right. I'm going to move on to the robot group. The machinery. The machines are taking over the world. This is Power Solutions. Uh, what is this thing doing? You can answer this yourself. You don't need to know much. Just buy it at the 5, and every time it comes back to the 5, you buy it. Every time it gets extended like this, 8% above the 5, you sell it. It comes back to the 5, then it gets a little extended, and then you sell it. So, I don't do that. I mean, you can do that, if you're familiar with the stock, and that's the thing. You should probably only be looking at, I don't know, a dozen stocks or more that you get really familiar with that you trade. I don't like having, more than 6 or 8 stocks. There's too much to keep track of. And then SYM, another one. Yeah, just wow, what is this one doing? Same thing, up 6% today, a little extended here. Another one I was going to put on my ready list. Why? Because it's breaking out of this consolidation pattern here, and this is what makes me upset. Yeah, breaking out here this week. Anyway, 41 was the 41 was the number, and it traded through that today, and I've got it written down right here on my little scratch pad. SYM 41, yeah. But oh well, that's the way it goes. Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, all right. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. At mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Except for in honor of the great Steve Jobs, we have one more thing. Stay hungry, stay foolish, stay humble. And I mentioned the leading stocks of this current rally, if they falter, that doesn't mean that the rally's over. It could be over for this stock, or the stock might want to base like it did here. But that doesn't mean the rally's over. It just means that new leaders are going to take its place as the rally ensues. So this has been a big leader, obviously since the Liberation Day. And now it's starting to, falter a little bit, show some weakness. And if it wants to do this, for another, few months and do something like this, there's nothing wrong with that, forming another base. Uh, it doesn't have to be a leader all the time. It was the top performing S&P 500 stock in the first half of 2025. Do you think it's going to do it in the second half? No, heck no. It's not going to do that. But so others will take its spot. If you own Palantir, I mean, I don't know how much more you can expect out of it. Um, to me, I shouldn't say anything. It's just observe where it's finding support. Once again, observe where it's finding support. There you go. Cup with handle pattern. It's been ripping now for a while. Go back to the daily, and now it's all of a sudden it's sliced its 21. It's not finding support like it was before. Right, the whole time is finding support at the 21, at the 21, at the 21, then at the 5 for a while. And now it slices the 21 and it cannot get back above it. It undercut the weekly lows if I go back to the weekly. Yeah, so and to me, uh, yeah, I don't want to tell people to sell things because you want to hold Palantir for another couple of years. I understand that completely, but you also have to know that you might be sitting through a base here while other stocks are making new highs. So just that's a decision you have to make. For this exercise, I'm just trying to show you leading stocks and where they're finding support. That's what you want to find out. Netflix has been a big leader. Now pulling back here, it's been surfing the five here, and now the 21. So we want to find support at the 21 where it found support here a couple of times, ran up and now maybe it sliced its five, maybe it wants to pull back to the 21. They report earnings on the 17th. So it's just a couple weeks away. So there's probably going to be some caution ahead of that report. Spotify sliced the 21 today. So that's, like I said, maybe these things after big runs, this one went from what, 540 up to what? Oh gosh, come on. Spotify went from 540 to 785, had a big run. Maybe it's time for a little bit of a breather. So, DoorDash, the same thing. And so that doesn't mean that the party's over. People want to point to, oh, the leading stocks are cracking. Well, there's other ones that are taking its place. Just know that. This is DoorDash. Pull back to the five yesterday. Did it bounce? Not really. It kind of squatted there. So when stocks pull back to their moving average where they found support, they're going to do one of three things. They're going to bounce, boop, like it has been. It's going to either squat on that or it's going to slice it. It can only do one of three things. So I'm watching DoorDash closely because I own DoorDash. Not that I'm going to sell it. I'm going to hold it long term, but it's just, one that I watch. GEV, definitely a leader in the energy space. Pull back to the 21. And since the breakout, it's done that, right? That's within its character, right? It's not out of character. Today just had an inside day today, though. So you want to see it, pop a little bit. And I understand that, the tax bill that's going through Washington, D.C. has got some implications here for the energy stocks, and that might hold it back. But you don't want to make excuses for your stocks. And if this one doesn't find support at the 21, you can always, like I said, find those stocks that are, trending higher and you don't have to waste time sitting through bases. Another one is CrowdStrike, definitely a leading stock. Cybersecurity name, consistently finding support at 21. This one's doing nothing wrong. Inside day today, had a little trouble at 500. That's expected, right? I mean, Zscaler having a little trouble at 300. That's expected. It was surfing the five here for a while. Now maybe it wants to pull back to the 21. Not the end of the world, especially if it's right there at the 300 level. I wouldn't mind if it just pulled back to 300 to that 21 is 299.91 today. So wanted to pull back there and bounce, I'd welcome that from Zscaler. A couple other momentum names, fast moving names that have been super strong. This is AEVA. One day it pulled back. Where'd it go? Down to the 21. Yesterday the 21 was at 26.47, pulled back to 26.22, and then popped off that 21 sharply today. 8% move. So nicely done, AEVA. They give you one day to get in, right? I mean, yeah. It fell off its surfboard, right? It was surfing the five, fell off his surfboard, a little bit of a wipeout, and then it paddled back out and got on the wave again today, up off the 21. So maybe it's changing, just changing waves there. What else do we have here in this group? Oh, UST, another one of these leaders pull back to the 21 down 1%. So we're looking for a bounce off that one tomorrow. If you don't own it, that would be something to watch for. AVAV, a defense name that was on, they had a secondary offering. So slicing the five, big move. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens. Avis, this one's super strong. What did it do? Found support at the five, and that's what you want out of your leaders. You want to see them. I already showed you Dave and SEZL. Yeah. Oh, and Reddit was the last one I wanted to show you. Remember, I had this one on the Reddit list. I want to say about 110 or 115 back here. When the moving averages went through the 50 here, the 5 and the 21, I said, that's a good time to get in there. Yeah, about 115. And this thing, just kind of toddled along there for a few days, and people don't have, they have ADD. We have no time to waste these days. And I know a lot of people said they got shaken out of this here. I don't really know how. But I understand not buying a stock below the 200, but then it rallied above the 200, 146, and today made a high there at the 164. Got a little bit ahead of itself and it closed 5.5% above the 5, but this one to me, it wants higher. Yeah, it wants higher prices. Now there you see it on the weekly. Will it get back to that, what was it, 230? I don't know. I would probably say, yeah, well, this is and don't quote me on that. My expectation is that it does, though. But there's a lot of they're doing really well. How about that? I'll just say that they're doing really well, and that's it for me. I did say that already. I want to point out one more thing, and for the people at mcstockcharts.com, I have a little blurb at the bottom of the page today on Gorilla. Something that is of note. I know I showed you. Yeah, I mentioned yesterday that the management team was at NVIDIA last week. And yeah, they weren't there for their health. One of the executives there said, incoming news, blah, blah, blah. They hinted stuff like that. So if Gorilla, announces a deal with NVIDIA, you can expect this one to ramp higher. I'm not going to put a price target on it, but 29.71 would be an area of interest. There you go. I got it flagged. Um, yeah, that's kind of what I expect actually if they do make an announcement. I'm not saying they will. They may or they may not, but Gorilla, I'm willing to take a chance on that. I like this little pennant pattern here. I think it goes higher. And anyway, yeah, just at the bottom page, just a little short couple of sentences on Gorilla. Looks good to me. Anyway, at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Have a great evening.